crumbly marzipan cookies dusted with icing sugar a la 3.14159.265. Yes. Hello beautiful people, it's your bag and frag hag Trina here. Welcome to Scent Gourmand. I talk about fragrances and handbags on this channel, so kindly subscribe if smellies and or purses are your jam. Today I'm taking you back a few decades to review an early gourmand I first discovered in a Montreal department store on a home visit between jobs here in Japan. I had a boyfriend at the time who smelled delicious and found myself roused to browse the what's new in fragrance section for men. The mathematically inspired bottle of Pie was hard to miss. It came out in 1998, but to me the bottle speaks of perhaps a previous decade of design. It's very now too, and I think the shape and particularly the texture on the back of the bottle speaks to like the 1980s, which is kind of like a postmodern feel to it, and I think that's where design is right now. Unless I don't really know what I'm talking about, but that's the trend I see in design and furniture and stuff like that today. It's not the Scandi minimalist vibe anymore, you know? I prefer the latter. However, I may disapprove of the bottle a tad, not my style, but I do really enjoy the juice inside, which was concocted by Alberto Morillas, who I've mentioned several times on my channel. Very good perfumer. Now, when I first smelled it, I thought indeed it was something I would wear, not only my guy. And years later, I found myself a cheap bottle, and you can still find these quite cheap. And yeah, I'm wearing it now. Back in the day, I guess I had more of a fixed idea about genders and fragrance and assumed that I couldn't possibly wear something that was targeting the male market. Silliness, I know. Sadly, I didn't pick up this for myself or my boyfriend, basically because the price at the time was a little steep for me and because I wanted to smell him in another scent I preferred for him from the same decade. Givenchy Pie is a woody aromatic fragrance that the ladies will most certainly enjoy on their own person in addition on the other people. You can luckily still find it pretty much anywhere. Discounters are best, I guess. Places like TJ Maxx will probably have it for 15, 20 bucks. Now this perfume has been re-released since its initial inception, but I've not heard of any reformulation per se. Certainly it smells like I remember it smelling, and I've heard people say that the performance is terrible, but I'm not finding that with this. I think it is below average, but it's not terrible for me. Maybe this is an older one though. Yeah, it still smells like how I remember it. It's cozy, spicy, warm, sweet, vanillic, woody, and almondy with licorice. Here are the notes. Yes, I would purchase this based on the notes alone, blind buy, I think. Pie is technically not a gourmand, but it's indeed cozy and delicious. It's kind of funny because when I last smelled it years ago before purchasing this bottle, I never caught that anise. It's that subtle licorice or anise scent that might make it a bit polarizing for some people. If you're not a fan of that aromatic black root that is licorice, you might not like this because the licorice note is there. Now the anise, licorice, they're not the same, I know. They taste different, but they smell similarly because they both have something called anthole. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's an organic flavoring compound used in perfumery. Booziness, burnt sugar, and vanilla in all its permutations permeate this scent from start to finish, and mixed with the almonds, beautiful, especially when the alcohol starts evaporating. This common thread is present throughout the fragrance, but more from the heart notes onward, I think. Marzipan definitely comes to mind. Brown baked sugar adds a sweet layer to the dark nutty vanilla and anise-laced tonka beans, and a resinous benzoin. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All the more so in the dry down. I love the dry down. If you're a fan of the more expensive Spiritueuse Double Vanille from Guerlain, this relatively affordable classic might be up your alley, I think. It's by no means a dupe, but it's got the same type of vibe, I feel. Where this well-blended and sensual fragrance leans a smidge masculine to my mind is in the opening, which is short-lived. Overall, it's fairly linear, but the start is a little green and barbershop-y. I've read some people say soapy, but I disagree. It's got a slightly dapper, spicy green start, and although it's unisex, I would describe this start to the fragrance as gentlemanly. Yeah, especially in the top notes. I'd say it's a mature fragrance too, calm and sensual rather than energetic and playful. Sensual, yes, but not for a seductive first date. I think it's a type of sexy with someone you're already very comfortable with. I think the person who wears this knows who they are, but is open to trying a little bit of experimentation. Yeah, it's a classic fragrance now, but it's by no means non-standard and outdated or easily pigeonholed into a period. It's very wearable today, very wearable, period. I mean, you can wear it in cooler months, but you could also pull it off different times of the year, and I think it works for different levels of formality and times of day too. I don't think Pai is a performance monster, but it's not the weakest blend either, especially when compared to more contemporary creations. It's more of a fall and winter snuggle close fragrance, meaning it doesn't project a great deal. It's a skin scent. The sillage is nice and it will last a few hours, but far from the entire day. I'd spray it on for a date with someone I love, maybe after dinner, so it lasts the evening together. Overall, this is an easy pull-off-the-shelf item for day-to-day wear. It's not one of my top fragrances of all time, but I'd say it's a solid release with a very interesting container. I've decanted some of this from my reference collection, but plan to pass on the remains of this lovely scent to one of a handful of my students who have won prizes for their performance in class this semester. That's why I've been off camera for so long. I've been busy at work, school. I told my students that I hadn't gone shopping yet, and upon hearing that, this one student asked me specifically for fragrance. Students and faculty apparently know when I'm on campus, by the way, because they can smell me. There are worse reputations to have, right? Pai is a commercially successful release, and as such, you can bet there have been flankers. There's Pai Fresh, that came out in 2001, Pai Metallic Collector in 2004, Pai Original Code and Pai Leather Jacket in 2006, and Pai Neo 1, I think, or Pai Neo in 2008. And sadly, I haven't sniffed any of those yet. And you may know I have a bias against flankerizations, but if you know any of them and think any of them are better than the original, I'd like to know your comments, so please leave them below. They're most welcome. Okay, my lovelies, click the thumbs up if you enjoyed this very quick review, and I'll see you in my next video. I have new bags, bag drama, and a lot of new and old fragrances to share, so hope to see you soon. Arrivederci, hasta luego, au revoir, bientôt. Hai, Jane, bye bye. Mwah.